Hello and welcome to Tonalist Painting by M. Francis McCarthy. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting we are doing today has the creative title of Night Scene. It seemed like a good idea at the time, folks. It's not a bad title. It is a night scene. And this is a study. It's a 5x7. In a few days, or maybe next week, we'll be talking about the 8x10 version of this, which is also a painting I'm pretty happy with. Right off the bat, first thing you're going to notice here is that instead of my usual burnt sienna underpainting, I'm using a blue. I'm still experimenting with this on my night scenes. It seems to me I've had more and more success every time I take on this kind of scene, but I'm really thinking next time I might just try say a dark gray instead. I don't know. This had pluses and minuses in my view. The ideal thing about a ground is that it really makes your life easier as a painter because you don't have to fill in every little bit of everything. And my logic in this particular case is that blue seems to be the predominant color that we perceive at night, although in reality it's almost more of just black and white with some color. It's to me a pretty mysterious phenomenon, and the lighting that you perceive at night I've never seen actually duplicated in a photo or a movie for that matter. And I can only think of a very few paintings that have sort of captured that feeling, and I think that's about the only place that you could capture it. Pretty happy with this painting. I can't say that I'm happy with this painting because I feel it's aesthetically successful, and but I don't think it's captured the actual way I see things at night. So at some point, that's something I'm going to maybe try and hunker down and take on. Um, this is a nocturne. That might have been even a better name than night scene. Sorry, guys, but night scene it is, and we'll call the next one nocturne. And again, it's not really so much about the title, it's about the quality of the painting. And this is actually based on a scene that was not a night scene. It was a daylight scene, but it was at a time of day that was, I think it was a bit overcast, so it's not a lot of strong direct light, and for that reason I thought, of course if I try and photograph a night scene, what am I going to get, it's pretty funny actually when you look at the old Hollywood TV shows and movies, where they'd have a scene that's supposed to be at night, and yet the sky is actually lighter than the ground. Which it is, of course, anyway, but you get what I'm saying. It's just a filter they put on the camera, and everyone's pretending it's nighttime because of the limits of the technology that they had at that time. These days, movies are a lot better at capturing low light situations, but one of the things that occurs is that as you're sucking in more light, it's the same thing as actually putting more light on a scene. So, the fact is at night the colors are just still there. Our ability to perceive them is diminished, and just a byproduct of being a human being. Anyway, that's a little bit about my philosophy of nocturnes, but I plan on taking on a few. I'm not doing any, I didn't do any in my last pass. This is that I just finished, and I'm not doing any in the passive paintings that I'm starting now, but I'm making mental note to do a couple after that. I have a lot of ideas and strategies that I want to try, and I will, God willing. I guess you're curious what's going on for me in the studio, and I've just finished, like I was talking about, I was up to doing series last year of 18 paintings, which was just taking so long to get through and complete that it was almost a little bit demoralizing, so I've scaled that way back to 10. And of that 10, I have to say that I crashed and burned on the 10th one, which was this interior forest scene. And I gave it my best shot, but I just didn't feel like I got up to the first color pass, and it's not the worst thing I ever did, but I just didn't feel it was successful. And that was a few days ago. I was gearing up to finish it, which is basically how I see that third pass, which is my glazing, scumbling, dry brushing pass. And my good friend Joe was in the studio, and I was just looking at the painting and talking with him about my frustrations with it. And at that point in time, I just decided to bail on the painting. And so, who knows, some point in the future I might try and complete it when I've got a better frame of reference. My issue with this interior forest scene is that I take these on as a challenge every now and again, but I find them, challenging, especially as I start scaling things up, because there's this excessive detail in the scene that requires simplification. But it's, every painting that you do is like that. It requires simplification. I mean, nature is complex, but these types of scenes, I take them on. I am not always successful, but that's okay, because if you're not trying to do things that you're not good at, or especially good at once in a while, you're not going to progress as an artist or as a painter. And that would actually go for the same deal with the nocturnes. I've actually had the nocturnes, most of the nocturnes I've painted have been very well received, and I've sold more than a few, but that doesn't mean that I'm totally ecstatic about the results I'm getting. Anyway, I have so I got 9 in my last pass instead of 10, and actually it is 10 if you count this little panoramic one that I did to fit a specific frame that I had in my inventory. And it's a small painting, but I think we could fudge that into 10 and say I still succeeded. But anyway, I'm actually going after 11 in the next pass, so I give myself a little latitude. And these are just the kind of mind games that I play. I guess all of us as artists have to have various strategies and mind games that we play, and this is just one for me. My goal, of course, is to have this all wrapped up by April 9th or so. This is March. By the way, today is March 9th. It's a Wednesday, and it's been a while since I've talked to you on a Wednesday, because I've been teaching a student on Wednesdays. So I've normally been doing Tuesdays or Thursdays, or I've been neglecting my duties altogether. But as I did Saturday or this last weekend, and apologize if you were tuning in looking for something you didn't get it. But I'm here. I'm here today, and I'm giving you guys some nice video insight into my nocturne here. So hopefully you're enjoying it, and I do plan on keeping this blog and video series going, even if I am a bit more intermittent than I was, especially back when we were doing the 100 days. Looks like we're getting close to the end of the video here. If you'd like to see more of my paintings, go to landscapepainter.co.nz or nz, and that's landscapepainter.co.nz. There's a lot of stuff there, and thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you hopefully this weekend if things aren't too hectic. Meanwhile, take good care and stay out of trouble.